IEC was established in 1997 through Section 65A of the Constitution of the Republic of Botswana. It's a specially entrenched provision of the Constitution, meaning that to amend it, there will be a requirement for many things, including a referendum. And the main mandate of the Independent Electoral Commission is to manage elections, or in short, it's electoral management. In other words, we are charged with ushering in structures of government through management of elections in the Republic of Botswana. And we manage elections in Botswana using 5 main pieces of legislation. We have the Constitution, we have the Electoral Act, we have the Referendum Act, we have the Local Government Act, we also have the Presidential Elections Supplementary Provisions Act. I must also highlight to you, say that the Independent Electoral Commission exercises or delivers on its constitutional mandate, specifically through the Secretary to the IEC, who is appointed by whoever is the President of the Republic at the time of appointment of the Secretary. And such appointment is done in terms of Section 66 of the Constitution, and that is another specially entrenched provision of our Constitution. And after being appointed, the Secretary to the IEC works under the overall guidance and direction of the Commission. The Secretary exercises general supervision over the registration of voters and the conduct and management of elections in Botswana. And he or she is also responsible for establishment of polling districts or council wards and polling stations following the delimitation exercise. Moreover, as an accounting officer for the Commission, the Secretary is responsible for the strategic management and administrative functions of the Commission. Now, in terms of our achievements during the reporting period, there were 2 main achievements that we had during the 2021-2022 financial year. Firstly, we managed to hold and run 12 council by-elections. There were many in that period because they accumulated during the preceding financial year because of COVID-19. But we successfully managed to hold those by-elections during the reporting period. One other thing that can be noted as an achievement during the same period was the fact that we managed to sensitize our stakeholders, especially the politicians, the poll staff that we are going to use in the conduct and management of those by-elections. We did that despite the fact that there were COVID-19 protocols that were supposed to be observed. That's why we are noting it as an achievement. And in terms of challenges, as an entity which is charged with managing the elections of the Republic of Botswana, you know, we always have some challenges around our mandate. And the first one during that period was the usual one relating to apathy, voter apathy. As I've already indicated, we had 12 local government by-elections, and unfortunately, at average, the voter turnout for those 12 by-elections was about 45%, which was not a good thing. But this has always been a trend with by-elections, mainly because, as you know, by-elections do not necessarily influence the formation of a government. So not many people have the motivation to go and vote during by-elections. The second challenge that we encountered, was delayed closure of the final accounts for our Tutume Independent Electoral Commission offices. The final accounts for that project were supposed to be closed in that period, but it was not possible because the main contractor delayed attending to some of the defects, the deficiencies in the building that were identified during inspection. During the same period, we conducted a voter apathy study using the University of Botswana's democracy research project. It was supposed to be completed during the same financial year. Unfortunately, it was also delayed. That delay, to us, was a bit of a challenge because in terms of our plan, we had planned to complete it during that financial year, but it couldn't because there was this high attrition rate of research assistants or data collectors in search of greener pastures elsewhere. And like I have already indicated, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable members of the Public Accounts Committee, there are other issues that I have also noted which I thought they should be brought to your attention as the PHC, and those issues pertain to the 2024 general elections. And under that category of information, I'm saying all in all, for the 2024 general elections, we had managed to register 1,030,275 voters. And here I'm talking about voters who were validly registered, who were in a position to cast their votes on the day of the national poll. And this includes Botswana who were resident in the diaspora or abroad. And that number, the 1,030,275, was actually about 80% of our target because we went into voter registration with a target of 1.3, which was also about 80% of the voting population of this country, which is around 1.7 million. And in the final analysis, I'm also happy to inform you, sir, that on the day of the poll, or at the elections, 845,318 registered voters managed to cast their vote in the 2024 general elections. This includes those voters in the diaspora as well. And in terms of percentage, this was about 81.4% of that number, 1,030,275 voters who were validly registered to vote. But the most important thing that I would like to indicate from the 2024 general elections is the perception that both local and international election observers had about our 2024 general elections. They have used 5 descriptors to describe the manner in which they perceived the conduct and management of our 2024 general elections. In particular, they said the elections were free, fair, credible, transparent, and conducted in accordance with the national laws of the Republic of Botswana. This statement should not deceive anybody into thinking that we did not encounter any challenges or there were no problems with respect to the management and conduct of our 2024 general elections. We all remember, perhaps we all remember the court cases. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with those court cases because as a democratic nation, everybody is allowed, is permitted by our national laws to approach the courts if they are aggrieved by any electoral process. So it was fine with our election management body for such cases to be there. But you remember, Honorable Chair, that during the advance poll we had problems relating to shortage of ballot papers, We had instances where, one of the candidates snatched our election materials at Botswana Tamaga constituency and ran away. And we had to have a rerun of the elections in that constituency. There were instances where some of our registration books, especially at Nkange, specifically for Marobela Main Kota police station, were stolen, and 48 voters were affected. Their registrations were affected. But I'm also happy to inform you, sir, that out of that 48, 42 of them were identified, they were located, and the situation made good for them. In other words, they managed to be registered again because we located them. Only 6 were never located, and likely they did not present themselves at their police station for the purpose of voting on the day of the poll. We also had some administrative glitches here and there, but I can state without any slightest tinge of hesitation, say that as an election management body, we subscribe to the principle of continuous learning and improvement. And I can assure you that those administrative glitches and other challenges that were within our control will never recur in any future elections in this country, because we have learned from them, and we'll use those learnings to improve our processes going forward. Another important issue that I should bring to your attention relates to our election management system. This is the system that we use to manage our sensitive electoral data. It's a huge data, so it requires a system to manage. Otherwise, there will be serious problems. The system that we are using, the old one, was actually installed in the mid-90s. And as we all know, technology becomes obsolete over time. So we have realized that the old one doesn't have capacity. It doesn't have sufficient security features. And we have installed a new election management system, which is more capacious and has more security features. And it disaggregates functions or responsibilities better. In other words, it's very, very clear as to who does what in the system. And we can actually track who went into the system doing what. Those things are very, very clear in the new systems. And as I make this presentation before you, sir, we are done with the installation of the system. What we are currently doing in the system is quality assurance testing and data migration from the old system into the new system. But of paramount importance is just a small component that we have included in the new system. We call it the advanced poll management module. Remember, a few minutes ago, I was saying that we had a problem related to the ballot papers for advanced poll. So as a remedy, we have come up with this module, advanced poll management module, which is going to help us to avert a recurrence of the same situation, the same challenges that we had relating to advanced poll. What is going to happen is the system is going to be in such a way that we just take a list of our poll staff, superimpose this list on the system, and automatically the system will generate information indicating where each one of those poll staff members will vote. That way, automatically we will know how many people will be voting at constituency A as voting in advance as poll staff. Those will be voting at constituency B, C, jalo. So it's going to be a remedy to the situation that we had. I must also indicate to you, say, because it's very, very important for us as an election management body, that we are still plagued by a shortage of office accommodation, both office accommodation and residential accommodation for our staff. Under normal circumstances, Honorable Chair and members of the Public Accounts Committee, employees of an election management body are not supposed to rent from the private sector. They are not supposed to rent from anybody, because they may end up being compromised in terms of their mandate or their functions. And in terms of office space, what is happening now is that we are renting from the private sector, and that office is not even purpose-built. In other words, it was not built with our constitutional mandate in mind. It lacks so many things that are supposed to be there in an office designated for an election management body. But I'm also happy, sir, to inform you that the government has acted on that situation. In particular, we have been allocated a 2-hectare plot at Block 10 near Sotoa. It's a huge plot, like I'm saying, 2 hectares, and they're sufficient for our purpose. The government has also gone beyond allocating the land or the plot to us. A decision has been taken at the highest level of government to have the office built through a PPP procurement model. So right now what we are doing are the preliminaries. We have generated a project concept note for submission to the Minister of Finance, so that they could test the project's resilience and make it part of the broader government project list. We have also generated a waste management plan as one of the requirements, the legal requirements for a project of that magnitude. Now, quickly going to our accounts for the 2021-22 financial year. Under the recurrent budget, we were given about 66 million. To be more specific, it was 66,219,360. And I'm happy to indicate that our expenditure at the end of that particular financial year was 64,986,211, which is about 98.14%. And mainly because we managed to implement most of our planned activities. I'm also happy to inform you that on the development side, we had warranted provision of 6,612,440. And at the end of the reporting period, the financial year, we had spent 5,368,100 pula, which is about 81% of the money allocated to us. There was an under expenditure here, mainly because of 2 issues that I have already indicated as challenges during the reporting period. One, delayed closure of the final books for our Tutume Independent Electoral Commission offices. The money was there, waiting for the final accounts to be closed. The second one was delayed completion of the voter apathy study, which was done by the University of Botswana's it's a democracy project. Those were the main things that contributed to this under expenditure. And in terms of revenue collection, there was what one may call overperformance there. Our projected revenue was about 71,720, but actual collection became 121,000. 711. And there are about 3 items that contributed to that level of revenue collection. The first one was correction of misallocations. Here, we are talking about a situation whereby some cash was collected from the government revenue as allowances. Unfortunately, some of those allowances were unclaimed, but had you said you are go revenue, on a misallocation, Madiate Avasala Henya, Hela under cash in hand. Now, to transfer that money to the consolidated fund, it had to be transferred first to the account there as sundries. That's why I like the receipt projected. At the same time, the over collection was due to payment of private telephone bills or charges. From the previous financial year. There was also an increased sale of voters' rolls in preparation for those 12 local government by-elections that I mentioned at the beginning. I'm also saying in terms of progress on Public Accounts Committee issues, we are indicating to you, Honorable Chair, that there has been tremendous progress. We have made tremendous progress in terms of not only resolving the issues that were raised, but also in addressing issues before they graduate into PAC issues. This has been achieved through improving monitoring and management of financial transactions within the Commission, resulting in fewer flawed financial processes and procedures. And we can only commit to ensuring that there is continued accountability in the management and use of public financial resources by the Commission. We'll continue to adhere to all the financial management guidelines to ensure public resources are properly accounted for, while at the same time ensuring or upholding efficient and effective service delivery at minimal cost. In conclusion, sir, I acknowledge and appreciate the guidance that we received from the Secretariat of the Public Accounts Committee. They have always been a call away from us in terms of helping us where we needed some guidance. And we also appreciate the comments from PAC. Some of them were made during the sitting of the 60th meeting of the PAC. We appreciate those comments, and in advance, we'll also appreciate and learn a lot from the comments that are going to be made by Baholo during this engagement. I thank you very much, sir, for your attention.
Thank you very much, Accounting Officer. We shall start with Honorable Monageng, followed by Honorable Mtausani.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Accounting Officer, Mr. Jeff Siamisa. I have 4 questions for you, Accounting Officer. You talked about voter apathy and the turnout of 45%. Does the IEC have educational outreach programs in engaging potential voters? And also, may you give statistics of the number of eligible youth to vote, how many did register, and how many voted, especially this the last elections. But if you could also touch and compare with the previous one. But if you don't have the ones for the previous one, that'll be fine. But I think you definitely have the ones for just the previous elections. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead and answer, County Officer.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the question, Honorable Chair. And the first one relating to voter apathy, whether or not the Independent Electoral Commission has voter education programs in place. The answer is in the affirmative, sir. We have those engagements with the voters, trying to encourage them to go and cast their votes or to participate in all our electoral processes. But
let me just chip in there, if you allow me, Chairman. Chairman, I think I did miss one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's the answer is in the affirmative, but you don't go to radio, you don't have work, you don't conduct workshops. Seriously. Pele in area la go le na kwa ditlhopho tota le wena o bo fila gore gona kwa ditlhopho le pina ele ya ditlhopho di tsile e ne go pela mo di radio kgapetsa. But I'm 100% sure of what I'm talking about, Kauri. I'm an ardent listener of radio generally. This year, last year, maybe you can activities that you did.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. There are so many, well, in preparation for the 2024 general elections, came up with what you call a stakeholder engagement plan. And in that plan, we had a whole gamut of activities that were undertaken throughout the country. One, we addressed all councils in Botswana as part of our outreach program. We also addressed various quota meetings in different constituencies. I think even the chair is my witness that I came to his constituency to address 2 quota meetings in that constituency. We also to address Botswana from that platform. In the mornings, we are almost every day during this Radio Botswana program called The Morning Show. Ramaroba, our public relations officer by then, was there. It was either him or the other manager responsible for policy development and voter education, or myself, or any other colleague who was also involved in those days. We also had opportunities to address and brief the all-party conference. I think I briefed them about 4 times last year in preparation for the October 2024 general elections. We also briefed and addressed members of Ntoeri, I think 3 times as part of our preparations for the elections. But the point that I'm taking from you, Honorable Chair, is that we should do more, because voter apathy is a challenge. It's a concern from the stakeholders, and we commit to doing that. I must also indicate that voter apathy is actually a worldwide phenomenon. Even in the developed world, everybody is crying about voter apathy. The voters are not coming forth to cast their vote or to participate in the electoral processes. That is why in 2022, Honorable Chairman, we decided to conduct a voter apathy study. We engaged the University of Botswana to engage Botswana, ask them why they are not participating in the electoral processes. And the report is out. We gave it to all our stakeholders. And there are a few items, if you want me to mention them, that they have chronicled in the report. The reasons why they don't participate effectively in the electoral processes. If you permit me, sir, I can now call them, sir. I can initiate them.
Okay, let's give him a chance. You can continue with your examination, Honorable. I'm saying continue with your examination.
Yeah, but the one, the youth, or how many voted? Did you touch on it? Not yet.
Yeah, you can touch, County Officer. Proportion of the youth who registered and voted.
That one, unfortunately, Honorable Chair, I didn't bring it, sir, honestly speaking, but we have it in the office. I can avail it. Speaking, but we have it in the office. I can avail it.
Avail it to the Secretariat of
Yes,
Parliament.
I will, sir.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Honorable.
We mentioned to the other accounting officers who have been there before, or whom we interviewed or examined, that it's always important to come with relevant information that you expect to be asked. Really, it's very, very, you bring it, but I'm just warning her. I expect it to be in our mind. But as you said, you'll avail.
Basically saying that, he's saying that it's quite basic that you should have it. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman. The second question is what was the rationale behind the benchmarking in Zimbabwe? We do have many countries in Southern Africa or in Africa, but why specifically Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe, thank you.
You may respond, sir. Why is him?
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, thank you. I'm happy honorable member of the Public Accounts Committee has raised this question. And I'm also happy that I have an opportunity to explain it. And I hope my explanation today will lay the matter to rest. Because wherever I go, it is raised, sir. If you recall, there was a general elections in Zimbabwe before ours. And my chairperson, Honorable Nyamazabu, Judge Nyamazabu, together with one of the commissioners and other people from other countries, were there as part of the electoral observation mission. And after the elections, there were several schools of thought on the conduct and management of the elections in Zimbabwe. Some were saying the elections were a success, while others had their own views. But there was one particular view which was particularly attractive to us as an election management body. It was attractive to us because, electoral management, in electoral management, you cannot operate as like an island. You learn from good practices in other countries or from your colleagues in other countries. So what happened was one of the good things that were identified in Zimbabwe was the manner in which they were churning out accreditation cards. You know, when you go and observe elections in any country, you'll be issued with a card with your name and the organization that you represent as an election observer. So one of the positive things that were mentioned about the Zimbabwean elections was those cards and the speed with which they were churned out by the printer or the machine that they were using to churn them out. More specifically, that printer or machine had capacity to churn out 50 copies of accreditation cards per minute. And by that time in Botswana, our system for accrediting election observers was 100% manual based. And because of that, we were only able to produce one accreditation card in 25 to 30 minutes. So the reason why we went to Zimbabwe, the reason why we went there to benchmark was to have a look at that printer, that machine. We had a look at it, and when we came back, we procured it, we procured a similar machine or printer locally. And that's why we were able to process everybody who came to Botswana for the purpose of election observation last year within a very, very short time. We were also able to churn out 50 accreditation cards per minute, which was a major convenience to our stakeholders, especially those who came all the way from their respective countries to observe elections in the Republic of Botswana. So it was a positive thing. Of course, before going to Zimbabwe, we had been to the Republic of South Africa. We had been to Namibia. We had been to Kenya. We had been to India. We had been to Malawi. And still on a benchmarking mission. But we realized that what they had, that particular thing which you went there for in Zimbabwe, was the best in the region. That's why we went there to have a look at it. I'm not talking about electoral management or any other aspect of electoral management. I'm specifically talking about a printer or a machine that was used to churn out those 50 accreditation cards per minute. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Honorable Monageng.
Yes, before I get to my third question, let me just mention na I go to that, I go to sentle, but I get hate. I mean, I go to sentle. The whole chairman of IEC and the name of a judge and all that, with due respect, would go to Zimbabwe to have a benchmark, to print the right thing. I can me chairman get like fit. Mela go latela go bona gore printer e printing quickly before go benchmark you.
Could you respond to that one, County Officer?
Thank you very much. I think I should be understood clearly, sir. I do not say my chairman, Honorable Judge Nyamazabu, went to Zimbabwe to benchmark. I was saying that he went to Zimbabwe during the elections in the company of other election observation mission. People from other countries, they went there with him. He was part of that mission which went there to observe elections. But later on, we went there as the technocrats. Because everybody in the region, because we interface within...
No, Chairman, Judge, my issue, whoever went there to benchmark, meaning the main reason even now, printer, printing accreditation cards. I don't think that's enough, but
Just a quick one. Panen medical that's Moritopo, since 2024, nearly talk at Liga.
Thank you, sir. I don't have the exact number because they were determined by the number of election observers, both local and international election observers.
Are you talking about them in thousands?
Hundreds.
In hundreds?
There were many.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the past, like I said, Honorable Chairperson, you know, election observers will spend a long time in the queue, you know, each one of them waiting for a card that will take about 25 to 30 minutes to generate, just one card. And like I'm saying, the system that they use for accreditation in Zimbabwe was considered the best in the SADC region. That's why we wanted there to have a look at what they were using.
Thank you very much. I think you respond. Can you?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Last one, if I may ask you.
Yeah, I said 4. I'm on the 3rd one.
It's allowed to ask only 3. We have other colleagues.
Okay, no problem. Elections management system, you talked about it. And then you said the first one had a problem. You have installed a new one, if I heard you correctly. What were the costs of the previous one, and what are the costs of the new one, and what informed you to record the new one? And finally, the plot in Block 10, you have 2 hectares. I think that's a good move. But may I know whether you're on a plot at 2 hectares, and how far are you with the plans for your building? Budget is Bukai. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. May you respond, County Officer?
Thank you very much, sir. Excuse me. Let me start with the 2 hectare plot at Block 10. Like I indicated, sir, currently as I brief you, sir, the plot has only been cleared. It was allocated to us for free by the government because this is state land. It's state land in Gaborone. The land is owned by the government. So it was allocated to us by the Department of Lands for free. We didn't pay anything. And in terms of how far we are in terms of developing the plot, like I have already indicated, we are still dealing with the preliminaries. In particular, one, we are working on the waste management plan. In fact, we are done with that one. The waste management plan, it has to be generated and approved before any developments are undertaken in the plot. Number 2, we are just about to complete the project concept note. It's a thick technical report that we produce, indicating the type of project that will be constructing there, or the budget that will be constructing there, the financial implications, how it is going to be developed, and all those things. And that document will be submitted to the PPP unit of the Ministry of Finance by Friday next week. So that is the situation as far as we are now. What informed us to come up with a new election management system? As I indicated, Honorable Chair, the old system was installed in the mid-90s. Today we are in 2025, and the old system was installed in the mid-90s. And like I've already indicated, over time, naturally technology becomes obsolete. I've also indicated that the old system had problems of capacity. It was not capacious enough. It didn't have sufficient capacity to accommodate modern day challenges of managing the electoral data. It also had limited security features. And you can imagine in the modern times when you are managing elections, you are managing electoral data, and you are using a system that doesn't have sufficient security features, that can actually turn out to be a serious problem in electoral management. And in terms of the costs, like I said, we are not yet done. We are still continuing with the system. We are doing the quality assurance right now, or testing, and at the same time migrating the data from the old system into this.
You mean you don't have a budget for it?
The budget is there, so it's around. The budget, we're still disaggregating the side. It's around 3.5 million, specifically for the EMS. It's a very sensitive project. We have to be very, very careful with how we do it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. You don't have to give any details unless it's manipulated, or you say it's very, very sensitive. So you don't want to give out a lot of information about it. But it's around 3.5 billion, they say, Honorable Mare. Thank you very much. Honorable Mtausani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning again, once, Jeff. Voter apathy. You have always been talking about voter apathy from as far back as I can remember. 2004, voter apathy. Don't you think the way leading your polling stations, cutting, contribute and tata more voter apathy? A typical example, how are you going to call on sitting? People walk about 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers to go to Matopelo. Don't you think this is one of the issues that did a lot of voter apathy? Thank
you very much, sir. Like I indicated, sir, in 2022, we conducted a voter apathy study because we are also concerned as an election management board about this voter apathy. And the location or the distance between the polling stations was not one of the issues that were raised by the people. Yeah. In fact, in 2019, when we went for the general elections, we had about 2,208 polling stations around the country. And for the purpose of the 2024 general elections, we increased to 2,808, trying by all means to bring electoral services closer to communities or the voters where they are. If you go around the country, you'll find some polling stations with about 10 voters registered there, simply because we wanted to bring those services closer to where the people are. Just to give an example of maybe 2 or 3 reasons that have been advanced by the voters themselves, why they don't turn up in large numbers to vote. One, they talk about the sort of representation they get from their elected representatives, whether in parliament or at council level. Those who were interviewed, some of them said their representatives do not represent them fully. That's what they were saying is there in the voter apathy report. That's one point they raised. Number 2, the other one, they talk about transparency. And I think that's one of the issues that many people have been raising. transparency, in the manner in which the commission is appointed, the secretary is appointed, the constitution is instructive on how those appointments are done. Now Botswana are saying we have come to a point where such processes should be more transparent. Just to give an example about the secretary, Section 66 of the Constitution says whoever is the president at the time of appointment of a secretary will appoint that person. The president himself will do that. Even though after appointing that person will work under the overall guidance and direction of the commission. But some Botswana are saying that is not enough because we don't even understand the process that is followed by the president in appointing the secretary. So to them, that's one of the things which make them to become slow in participating effectively in electoral processes. So those are just some of the few points that they have raised to explain why they don't participate effectively in the electoral processes.
I guess the point is made, County Officer. You want to follow it up?
Yes, okay, I want to follow it up. Correct. I'm suspicious of the study because these studies normally when they are conducted, they are conducted in areas how they are targeted people. This study, I don't think it has ever been other than University of Botswana, and that is why you get this kind of information. I would definitely disagree with that because na and like I'm giving examples of distances of about 15 kilometers. Those areas, if you go every time to Bishaputeho, you'll find more than 90 people, 100 people. And how than a equadiso, Kahore Abeli, Horemotochan Go, I say, we can the parodia who could say, the apathy starts from registration itself. Because if le politique, let's say then they can't easily access Matopia. So that to me, that's one of the issues that needs to be addressed seriously if we want to reduce the voter apathy situation. I don't know why it is difficult for IEC House and a ward, inally over 3,000 people. And you expect these 3,000 people who are five. It means it's more than 500 people in every polling station. So these are the things that I think, but that's the study. I think you need to revisit this study again. Now, let's try University of Botswana, let's try Mohaburoni, let's try Momuchudi. Let's try Momitiniel or release or about they are targeted. Whenever to about this study, about the backward to medical that I can assure you. So, I give Malanili or Netata Jeff. Kakanya the cute Tata gets when it's a digram, but Baba equally and then they don't even go and vote. Baba, when they come to the voting stations, and then after that, Babu Mudile ni Baba or hunger can have for the whole day. So, accommodation, office accommodation. I don't know, but I realize that IEC Modi of Sinsabone Tedi Modi Kaulo. What I tell a libu di ready buseo. Home Bulebeha Bulleting Kanako Yosing Activiaka Nakwa at the top. I don't you think the Chansore how Tanakwa at the top? Look, it's a staff salona, at least on temporary basis. Babaling ko di Kaulo. Because Kilemuha or on a chocolate in Citat. How Libella I'm presenting me. I want you to look at it.
We
I want
tabled it,
you-
Honorable Member?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, we
Because I
tabled
want
it.
to really give him the kanye ka ha e leng teng, e tshelang ka teng so that they can improve on that. How level kgaolo e tshwana le mo Goditshane is dealing with 5 huge constituencies, so populated. You take Mogoditshane alone, how ka kwa tlhakanya le Thamaga le Gabane Mangkhodi le bo Metsi Motlhane. Just Mogoditshane alone. So what do you think about go oketsa bodiredi gono kana go kgaoganya di-office tsena ka tota mo go ka thusang gore di kgaogane o nne le nngwe ko Thamaga o nne le nngwe mo Mogoditshane? How about that one?
Can you please respond, County Officer? The Honorable Member has also cast aspersions on the credibility of the University of Botswana PAC study. Please respond to that as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me start with the last one regarding office accommodations, sir. It's in our plan, sir. In short, it's in our plan to decongest the Mogoditshane office by opening another office at Thamaga. I don't know when precisely, but it's going to happen before the next general elections. The same will occur. Our 2 priorities now in terms of opening new offices, Mabutsane and decongesting Mogoditshane to open an office in Thamaga. Honorable Member raised the same question during our Committee of Supply speech. That's why we sat down to look into our processes with a desire to answer those grievances as already initiated by him. Now on the study, I'm not going to controvert what the honorable member was saying about the voter apathy study. Indeed, the researchers who were undertaking the study invoked all relevant and important research methodologies to come up with the report. But as an election management body, we are always concerned with improving our processes. And the point that he raised, advising that maybe we look at the issue of police stations, is something that we have noted. We'll look into it and where possible, redress accordingly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You have the last one, Honorable Mtausani. Well, due regard should be given to what you advised just before we started.
Here, okay.
Remember.
Me gone mo bodireding bo kore mo bodireding bo na le bone hela bo IEC ke le mo ga gore gona le bang mo le tso go batsa ba le ko retirement. Don't you think ne le tshwanna ke gore ka be le dirisitse bana ba le na le bone mo di because some of them are capable. I don't want to mention names, but ke feel gore go ngwe ikela ka re le tlogela batho ba na le bone ba le more effective ba la go tsa ba go dile mmebile e nna bone ba supervisor e be go nna dingalo tsa gore ano ba tsipa ya ka o ka solo ya ke le dira jalo.
County Officer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. You see, the matter that the Honorable Member of Parliament is referring to was actually an ad hoc arrangement that was meant to address the challenges that we had in terms of managing and preparing for the 2024 general elections. Those people are gone, and the young ones whom he's referring to will soon assume the positions that Honorable Member is referring to. In electoral management, there is a need for experience. That's why we record some of our colleagues from their retirement to assist us for only 12 months, and thereafter they went home to enjoy their retirement. Thank you.
Okay, during registration, bana ba bantsi ba ne ba tletse mo mekgwatheng, and then you decided go tsaya matitšhara na bone bang go kwadisa ditlhopho babereki ba puso ya le bang go berekisa ditlhopho. Why was that thing important to you? Go na le bana ba e leng gore ba ga ba bereki ba ntse ba tla ba kwadisi ditlhopho ba kile ba di kwadisa hela ba qualified in terms of at least academic qualifications ha ka kra re go tsane ba ka na le mathata le dikgang tsa go registera batho le go tlhophisa tota.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for the question. You see, electoral management is a very sensitive area. You recall, Honorable Chair, that when I was given the executive summary, I indicated that is the mandate or the function we use to usher in structures of government. So we should exercise the highest level of circumspection in all these processes, from registration of voters to the day of the poll. Yes, we appreciate the need to take care of our young people who are not working, who are unemployed, but at the same time, we should look at the sensitivity of the process involved. We need a bit of experience. Yes, we want to benefit from both banana, the energy that they have, the commitment that they have, the education that they have, but at the same time, they need to be put side by side with their senior colleagues, so to speak, who are already in a formalized work environment where there is a system of rules and regulations governing the conduct of those officers on an everyday basis in their respective offices, whether at council or at a school or at the central government department. So we feel strongly that rather than reducing electoral management to employment creation of the young people, we should be sensitive to the sensitivity and the security and safety required of electoral processes. So we understand what the honorable member of the PAC is saying, but at the same time, the security aspects, the accountability that is supposed to be there, compel us to put the young people side by side with Badela Puso, where they are more experienced. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Can I ask one? I think you have made your case.
Now let me ask this one, Elia Buhelo. Ke lemogile gore mo tsamaisong ya lona e ga ke tsora a molao ka ha o buang ka teng in terms of demarcation. Ha go lebega gore some constituencies the word is a thing the they don't commensurate with the vastness of the area. Is it not possible that a car within the first half of the normally 10 years period, you do demarcate after 10 years after the population census is done? But here in this case, are you not, amenable to bringing this forward was demarcating those, redemarcating the wards in a constituency? Does the law allow you or not?
That should be that was the last one. Yeah. Please respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think we need to be extra careful when it comes to political boundaries. I think that is why the law has been crafted in such a way that all these political boundaries can only be revisited after 10 years following both the National Census and the Delimitation Commission. If the political boundaries were to be amended as and when somebody raises a query against what has been done, it may become a problem. Political interest will come into play, and that will probably have the effect of maybe even destabilizing the country when some people suspect that the political boundaries are being manipulated by certain political figures in their favor. So I think that is the broad principle that we should have in mind as we draw political boundaries, be it boundaries for constituencies or polling districts or council wards. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorables, are you engaging? Okay, yes. Honorable Dikgo.
Ke a leboga modulasetilo. Accounting officer, in your executive summary, o buile thata ka gore you want to run elections they are free, fair, and credible. But from long, there's been a concern from the opposition, including the electorates. A go sona go thopiwa lorala di box di a tsamaya di a go go balelwang teng gone go go balelwa the players ba seo mo they don't you don't accommodate them mo dikoloing tsa lona ba tsamaya ba le nosi and go na le pelaelo ya gore dikoloi di a khona gongwe go bulwa di box go tsengwa dikunupo tsa ba bangwe mo teng gore ba khone go wina. So tota is to run free and fair elections. To ensure that the boxes tse ga di kgaogane le bathopisi ga di kgaogane le baemedi ba di candidates ba go di gorosa go di yang teng mme gone go pala eng gore go balelwe ko mathopelong go na le go incur so much expenses ya go transporta the ballot boxes to the counting stations.
Thank you very much, sir. I understand the question. It is true that in terms of the law currently, in terms of the Electoral Act now, we have what is called a county center or a constituency headquarters with respect to where constituency votes are counted. Then we have the polling district headquarters where polling district or council ward votes are counted. And for a long time, some stakeholders have been saying that for the sake of transparency and strengthening the credibility of the electoral process, we should count at the polling station. And that is one of the recommendations that has always been carried forward from different reports or in different reports arising every time after a general elections. Even last week, we had a 1.5 days engagement at Procurement, where all our stakeholders, close to 200, they came there to review or assess or to give us feedback on the conduct and management of the 2024 general elections. And one of their recommendations is that maybe we should start considering counting at the polling stations. Well, as an election management body, we are not averse to that. It's just an issue of amending the law as it is. If the stakeholders, especially political parties at the all-party conference or wherever they engage each other, agree that indeed it is time to amend the Electoral Act to make a provision for counting at the polling stations. I mean, certainly, as an election management board, will abide by that new provision. But there are implications, and that is the only thing we can do. We can provide the implications to the lawmakers so that they decide on the matter, knowing the implications. In other countries, Honorable Chairman, this counting at the polling stations is made possible by the fact that they don't have many polling stations. The honorable member of the PAC was complaining about the distance between people's residences and their polling station. He was talking about 15 to 20 kilometers. There are some countries where they count at the polling station and they don't care about those distances. They will just set up a polling station knowing that there will be several people who are going to register there. But in our case, like I've already indicated, we have instances where a polling station will have 10 or even less. We have one with 4 registered voters because we brought that service closer to them. They stay at the farms, and we brought that service closer to them. Now, if we say we are going to count at the polling station, this is what we mean, or this is the implication. One, what it means is that we'll be converting a polling station into a counting center. So in the evening, when we start counting, it means the requirements that we need at the counting center, like increase the number of security personnel, police officers whom we engage, it means the number has got to increase. At the same time, some of our police stations, especially when you go out there deep in the rural areas, where we are trying to attract voters to go and register and vote in large numbers, they are just open space police stations. And that may have the effect of complicating the issue of security. The other point is that when you count at a police station, for example, with 10 registered voters or even 4, what it means is that those voters, they belong to a particular family. Now, what it means is that after counting, their voting pattern, how they voted, will become a matter of common knowledge to everybody. In some countries, they will even go to the extent of saying, this is not just a family, but they belong to a particular tribe. And in those countries, in some instances, it has led to post-electoral hatred, post-electoral violence against certain tribes or certain families because of the manner in which they voted, because the results will be published there, the results for the 4 voters or the 10 voters who were registered in that constituency or in that polling station. But all in all, what I'm saying, Honorable Chairperson of the PAC and Honorable members of the PAC, is that if the law is changed, what will be left with us is implementation of the decision, and we will do that because that will be the law. Currently, it is not the law. The law requires us to transport boxes to a county center. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have you ever recommended to change your law? When only accounting officer, in your view, why do you think the then ruling party did not complain about taking the boxes from the why do you think they didn't complain?
Honorable Chair, I think Honorable member of the PAC is compelling me to venture into an area that is not mine.
Please respond, Accounting Officer.
Thank you, sir.
The best way you can.
The best way I can. Thank you. Yes. Yes. I want to know the thinking in the minds or even hearts of different political players in the field of electoral management. My job say, as already chronicled to you, is to manage electoral processes using the law as it is or as it obtains in the country. And that's what we did even in 2024, applying the law as it is. So if it is changed to make provision for counting at the polling station, that will become the law and will comply accordingly without any slightest tinge of hesitation.
May I
We'll
chip
do
in
that.
there?
Thank you, sir.
Chairman.
Thank you. Hey, just hold on, just hold on. Can you go ahead?
Huh?
Go ahead.
Maybe he wanted. I'm going
To another topic issue.
Mr. Monitor, you remember. But anyway, I'll give you this chance.
Please. Because kana kira gongwe answer ha etswa chairman o sa ikgotswahala le.
Go ahead with your question, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, chairman. Na ke go utlwe accounting officer. Kana potso nere. Ko ro a lemoga your office ya lemoga gore tota go tsaya di ballot papers ke sone di siwa lehelo le lengwe. It's cumbersome gore leng and o accepta gore tota ano na ke tsa gore how o kanetse that process o bo bona esa siama. The question was, have you ever mentioned ko bogoging gore process it's cumbersome na recommend gore e change that? I think that's the question.
It always independent.
Go ahead, accounting officer.
Thank you very much once again, sir. Earlier on, I indicated that last week you were reviewing the 2024 general elections, and currently we are working on the report. We are expecting the first draft to be out today. After completion of the report and printing, we will be distributing it to different stakeholders, including government. So all the recommendations will be there. They are divided into two. There are those pertaining to legal reforms. There are those pertaining to administrative reforms. Those that are administrative will be attended to immediately by the commission because they are within our control. They relate to our everyday way of doing things or running the commission. But as to legal reforms, those ones, we pass them on to the ministry or the minister concerned for processing. Usually the minister will go to the all-party conference, and at the all-party conference, they will discuss these proposed legal reforms. Sometimes they will agree on some of them, and others they don't agree. And those that they don't agree on will never find their way to Parliament for those legal reforms to be done. But in short, yes, in the form of those reports, we, even with our position as an ENB articulated, we pass them on to the Ministry for processing. Thank you, sir.
So buang Makirane, I go uno super oro gongwe o ne gona dingongore ga di tswa ka go ba bane ba le mo position. So se buang ke gore yaanong ka gore a busa se go raya gore yaanong re baakanye molao ga e le gore batla go baakanya wa rialo a le gore thata re ka hetala ko pele right
o supile mo reporting ya gago mo gore ka 2019 there were 24 petitions. What lessons have you learned from this now that the Toposono di Rana 2024 go go sena di petition ke se maso se ne se diragala ka 2019 se ile gore during your 2024 elections ne se ne se se go ka re share o wa se share le rona
Accounting Officer?
Thank you very much, sir. I will attempt to answer this question, sir.
Please attempt.
I think I can ably focus on what we did in preparation for the 2024 general elections. Chronically, some of the things that made it possible for us to run an election, a general election, devoid of petitions. I think the first thing that we did, which worked for us, was stakeholder engagement. I know earlier on, one of the members of the PAC indicated that he didn't see us. But we did a lot in terms of stakeholder engagement. I refer to the addresses, the full council addresses that we did throughout the country. Not once, not twice, but more than that. We went around the country. I refer to the quota meetings that we addressed around the country. I have referred to the focused discussions that we had with specific demographics in the area of electoral management. So stakeholder engagement was one of the things that contributed a lot to our success in delivering the 2024 general elections. And the other thing I think that we did was to intensify education on the part of the people who were assisting us to run the 2024 general elections. The emphasis on the rule of law, the emphasis on ensuring that everything was done in terms of the law or as prescribed in all the pieces of legislation that we use to manage elections in the Republic of Botswana. And I think the other thing that I should refer to, I think it was the willingness of political parties and their supporters to observe the rule of law on the day of the poll. And that's what I saw. That's what I observed as a secretary to the IEC, that on the day of the poll, as I was going around the police stations from the morning up to late in the afternoon, even receiving reports from the different constituencies, quite clearly, politicians, their agents, the voters, had that commitment. I think they had our message during the preparations for the general elections to observe the rule of law. Those are the three main things that I've noted.
The last question, Diwa? The last question. Oh, you're done? Oh, no, if you are done, it's fine, it's fine. Honorable Konari.
Thank you, Chair. Dumela, Accounting Officer, and your team. There's a lot of talk independence of IEC. What is your view? Do you consider IEC currently as it operates independent? If not, what's the ideal scenario? What are the changes that you would recommend? And have you recommended them to the current changes, to the current government? If not, when are you recommending?
Accounting Officer?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, and the Honorable Member of the PAC who just raised the question regarding the independence of the IEC. You know, Honorable Chair, there are so many schools of thought on this matter. Yes, there is a school of thought which says the IEC is not independent, and they cite the manner in which the secretary is appointed, the manner in which the IEC itself, the commissioners, are appointed, source of funding being from the government of the day, you know, so many things. The day of the elections being pronounced by the president, who is, of course, the leader of a party that is also a contestant in the electoral space. So those are some of the examples of the things that people use to say the IEC is not independent. Yes, from that perspective, sir, we can say there is a lot that need to be done to operationalize the functioning of the Independent Electoral Commission as a fully autonomous constitutional entity as provided for in the Constitution. Because if you look at the Constitution, the IEC is a highly constitutional entity. It is supposed to self-regulate. That is what the Constitution says. It has to self-regulate. And I think that is a big statement in the Constitution. Now, as to what I think will be an ideal situation, this is not a position of the Independent Electoral Commission. It's my thoughts on the matter, sir, having reflected on what obtains in other jurisdictions, other countries in the SADC and beyond. In other countries, we have something similar to what one may call IEC Act. And that act, which turns the entity into sort of a parastatal, operating independently from government. And like I said, my thought on it, because I've been asked to express my views on it, yes. I think, Honorable Chair, you know, when it comes to the Independent Electoral Commission, one has to exercise a lot of caution. The IEC should not be turned into just one of the parastatals as they exist today. We know them, even by name. It's very important that the election management body is not turned into a simple parastatal. In my view, it should remain a highly constitutional entity, operating more like a fourth arm of government. It has to be like that. We may not call it a fourth arm of government, but it has to operate more like a fourth arm of government, completely independent from other structures of government, but at the same time not turned into a simple parastatal or just another parastatal. That is very, very important. At the same time, it's very important to look at what is called constitutive documents, the laws, the legal framework governing the management of elections in Botswana. Look at the appointment of the secretary, make it more transparent. Like some people have already said, maybe give a role to a parliamentary select committee in terms of the appointment of the secretary. Maybe the same dispensation could be extended, like other people are saying, to the appointment of the commissioners themselves. Somehow come up with a more transparent process of the appointment of these authorities.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Would you agree with me if I would say the issues that you have raised are issues that have been raised in the past, especially as recommendations from every elections national stakeholders evaluation workshop or meeting in the past? They have been passed to government. You did evaluation last 2 weeks. The same issues would be coming up. You will be passing them to government. When you pass to government, what kind of format are you passing them to government to say, these are the recommendation from national stakeholders, we fully endorse them as IEC, or you tend to pick some of them and some you don't endorse?
Thank you very much, sir, Honorable Chairperson. This is the procedure that we follow, sir, in processing the recommendations. After completion of the report, with all those recommendations, we take the report to the Commission, formally seated in their ordinary meeting. They will go through each one of the recommendations and have their own comments, and thereafter pass them to government for processing. For example, let me just give this example. Regarding the one that was mentioned by honorable member, previously honorable member of the PAC, counting at the police stations. What we will do is we'll look at this recommendation and provide all the pros and cons against this particular recommendation. Take it to government. Government will look at all those things and others that maybe we may have failed to provide there, and then decide accordingly. That is the procedure we follow, sir.
Thank you. The advance poll, 2024.
Just a quick one to buttress the point. In the past PACs, it emerged that the IEC was working on giving recommendations to government on an IEC Act that you talked about today, right? Are there any efforts currently that you know of that seeks to produce the IEC Act that shall then define the independence of the IEC politically, legally, administratively, and operationally? Are there any efforts? Is there some draft document lying somewhere that talks about the IEC Act that you have referred to?
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, we have submitted the draft that you are referring to the new Minister for State President. He has it in his possession.
It's in his table.
It's in on his table, yes.
The ball is in his court now, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. The advance poll 2024, it was such a mess. You go to different polling stations, advanced polling stations, almost 50% of those eligible to have voted and took an effort to go and vote did not vote. We are talking about a human rights issue here. One, denial of your right to vote. Secondly, we are talking about the financial burden, whereby people traveled long distances only for them not to vote. What compensation do you have for such individuals, economically and otherwise? If not, are you planning to put any compensation process in place?
Thank you very much, Steph, for the question. Mr. Chairman, we don't have any plans for compensating anybody for any encumbrances or any costs that they incurred as they travel to their respective places to cast their votes, whether during advance poll in 2024 or during the general elections on the 30th of October 2024. But like I indicated...
Sorry, not to cast their vote, but for being denied to cast a vote.
Thank you very much, sir. I think it was a small correction from honorable member. But like I indicated, honorable chairperson of the PAC, we admit, and we do that with a lot of humility and a lot of seriousness and a desire to improve our electoral processes. We admit that there were some glitches, some bordering on administration. There were many of them, especially during advance poll. And I've already committed to ensuring that in future there will be no recurrence of the same glitches. That's why I have indicated that we have moved swiftly as an election management body to come up with what we call an advanced poll management module within our election management system. And that module is going to help us greatly in terms of managing ballot papers pertaining to advanced poll. I think what we can do is to learn from what has occurred during the 2024 general elections and ensure that there is no recurrence of the same glitches in any future
If
elections.
it recurs, if it reoccurs, what happens? How ka dirahala gape, what happens? Why don't you put compensation process in place?
Thank you very much, sir. We are not planning to fail, sir. We have learned a lot from the glitches that.
If you fail,
No, we are not planning to fail, sir. I think I have to make that point clear, sir, Chair. We are not planning to fail in electoral management, especially when you are addressing a problem that has already occurred, a problem that you have learned a lot from it. You do your things, you move forward in such a way that there will be no recurrence of such an event.
County officer,
if there's-
there was indeed a problem with the advanced poll, and you are now suggesting that we have an advanced poll management module, right? And in its construction, did you involve those who were affected, including politicians, so that it doesn't recur?
Thank you very much, sir. No, we didn't involve, it's part of the system where we cannot involve politicians in constructing the election management system. It's a system that is used by the election management body to manage electoral processes, to manage the electoral data and other things. So we cannot open it up to anybody or any outsider. Even access to this system within the IEC is limited to certain persons.
This one is a module. It's not like you're talking about the big system there, the 3.5 million. It's a module for ensuring that the same advanced poll chaos doesn't happen.
Thank you, sir. It's a module within the system. It's not isolated from the system, sir. It's a module within the system.
So you are assuring us that that chaos will never recur again.
Never.
You are recorded.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
and you are under oath.
Yes, sir.
I think the last issue or two, the protection of the system, the whole electoral system, in terms of intelligence and all the sorts. Who does it for IEC? Do you have intelligence officers? Kana le thusiwa ke DIS? If so, ile thusa ka tsela e ntseng jang? What is your working relationship with DIS?
Thank you very much, sir, for the question, Chair. Within our election management body, we have persons, experts, whom we call systems administrators. We have experts whom we call systems security personnel. We have experts whom we call systems auditors. That is the personnel that takes care of all matters pertaining to our election management system. Like I have already indicated, nobody has access to our system. Even in the election management body, it's not everybody with access to the system except for few and specified personnel. The DIS, for the record, they have no access to our system. They have no access to our processes. We don't interface with them. with respect to our election management system. It's a very sensitive area, like I've already indicated. That is where elections are. If something goes wrong within that system, we can actually plunge the country into a constitutional crisis.
Was that the case with the old system and now the case with the new system?
I think you said, actually, I'm talking about the election management system in generic terms, trying to emphasize the sensitivity of the system and the fact that...
My question, supplementing is that what we are saying now applied to the old system as well, that there was no space for any unauthorized person to go into your system. Is that the case?
Thank you very much, sir. Nobody, or in particular the DIS, because the Honourable Member has referred to the DIS, they have never had access to our system up to now.
Sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm on the same question. I'll be making a follow-up on it.
Okay, we can make a follow-up.
The DIS Director General was here, is it Monday or last week? He said categorically that they provide security for IEC. And you are saying you don't have a working relationship with DIS. Who's telling the truth here? What kind of security do they provide for you? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, Chair, Honourable Chair, the Honourable Member of the PAC was talking about DIS security with respect to the election management body. No, the election management system.
Yes.
And I stated categorically, for that matter, that nobody has access to the election management system except few and specified officers within the election management body. So in short, I was categorically stating that the DIS has no access to our election management system because it's the most security high area within our electoral processes. It's the most sensitive area where access is denied except for very few and selected officers. I didn't listen to the Director General of DIS when he appeared before yourself, sir. But if indeed he said they provide security to the IEC, maybe he means in other areas, not the election management system, because we have our own experts that take care of that. We have systems.
Are there any other areas that they provide security to IEC?
No, sir, we don't have them at IEC.
Sorry, Chairman. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I would want to give this chance to Honourable Polaholo, please. Okay. In view of time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Just a parting shot. If it so happens that we retrieve information to the effect that he may have indicated that, we'll come back to you. That's fine. That's fine.
Dumela Resia Misa. Era. I think my colleagues have exhausted most of the questions that you needed to set the record straight on. But here's my interest in your organization. You do have a mission, a vision, and goals. And in my own terms, the operative word or core words in your mission is innovative manner of conducting elections. Please take note of that. When it comes to your vision, the operative word in my understanding is credibility, credible elections. And in your goals, you have transparency. So I'm going to ask you to quickly just deal with those operative words. When you say you want, or when you speak of innovative ways to promote citizen participation, what sort of ideas are you thinking of? Because I guess the IEC is going to be around for as long as Botswana exists. So this hasn't changed. I guess maybe it came from the time IEC was set up. And what are those innovative ways that you have in place?
Thank you very much, sir, for the question. I appreciate it greatly. The three operative ways that are embedded in our values, our mission, our vision. Innovative ways of managing and conducting elections. What sort of ideas do we have around that area? Most importantly to us is the use of technology. On the part of the Election Management Board, we prefer to be honest, we prefer electronic voting machine. But we can't go there because our stakeholders are saying no. Political parties are saying no, we can't go into that area. Our voting population is still too small. We can continue with the manual system of voting, but that is our preference, looking at the advantages that we may get from using technology to vote on the day of the poll. We will have instances of real-time issuance of the results and things like that. But there's another area where we are going to use technology, because that one has been agreed upon by political parties. And in fact, a law or the Electoral Act has been amended to make provision for that. That is the area of voter registration. Section 7 of the Electoral Act has been amended to make provision for the use of technology in voter registration. Actually, we have been to several countries. Some minutes ago, I mentioned having been to India, having been to South Africa, having been to Malawi, having been to Namibia, having been to Angola. I didn't mention Angola, but it's one of the countries that you went to benchmark on how they use technology to register their voters. So what I'm trying to say is currently processes have been activated by the Election Management Board to ensure the installation of voter registration systems before the 2029 general elections. We are doing everything that we are supposed to do to ensure that we come up with that innovative way of registering voters through the use of technology. So that is an area where political parties have an agreement. They have even amended the Electoral Act. So we'll be going ahead, we'll be proceeding with the installation of the electronic voter registration systems. We are also thinking, Honorable Chairperson, in terms of electronic submission of voting colors and symbols. You know, as we prepare for elections, those who intend to stand as independent candidates, there is a time when they submit their voting colors and symbols for examination by the secretary to ensure that we don't have similar voting colors and symbols already registered in the register that is kept by by the Secretary to the IEC. So we think even that one is possible to use technology, innovative way of doing this. So we also think that, the use of technology will help greatly during voter registration. Imagine somebody comes from Bobono, he's based in Gaborone, or he comes from Maung, and he's based in Gaborone. Now, if we come up with a technology that will allow that person to register in Gaborone, knowing that he's registering for Maung or Bobono or whatever place outside Gaborone, that will be a great convenience to that particular voter. So that's our line of thinking in terms of innovative ways of doing things or electoral management. But at the same time, Honorable Chairperson of the PAC and honorable members of the PAC, the general principle in electoral management is to introduce technology with caution or circumspection, because stakeholders have a tendency to be suspicious when the new technology is introduced in matters of electoral management. You recall what happened with EVM in 2019. A law was actually enacted making provision for the use of technology in voting, and they did not accept it. To the manual system of doing things. The next operative word is credible elections. I think when something is credible, people believe in it. People associate with it. And the way we want to do it, we will try by all possible means to engage all the stakeholders. Not engaging them at the tail end of our processes, but engaging them well in time. Whether it issue registration of voters, whether it against the day of the poll, or some amendments that have been done in the Electoral Act or any other piece of legislation promulgated for the management and conduct of elections in Botswana. We believe engaging our stakeholders, all of them, even going down to party level, where we meet with the youth organizations of the different political parties to engage them on our processes. That is something that we'll definitely do after our experience in the 2024 general elections. Like I indicated earlier on, we believe in the principle of continuous learning and improvement. So that's some of the things that we'll do to make sure that people believe in what we do, believe in our processes. We'll also not only preach the rule of law, we will not only preach the use of the law as it is in our electoral processes, but we will do it. Every process will be facilitated, will be managed in terms of the law as it provides for that process. And the last operative word is transparency or transparency, not hiding anything. Yeah, everything done. I want to say thank you.
For the sake of time, that is where we will continue, the transparency part. You went to Zimbabwe, right, to benchmark on the registration machine. Was this after the SADC mission, election observer mission report was issued out? Elections in Zimbabwe, August 2023. The report came out in September 2023. When did you undergo the trip to benchmark in Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much, sir. I think, if I recall well, it was in January, February 2024. Then that would mean it was after the report of the SADC.
Were you aware of the findings that was in the report from the SADC Election Observer Mission before you went to Zimbabwe?
Actually, we were aware of two reports, sir. There was another report from the ECF SADC. There was a preliminary report from the ECF SADC. ECF SADC it stands for the Elections Commission Forum for SADC countries. And that is where we meet. That's where we interface as the different election management bodies in the SADC region. So by that time, when we went to Zimbabwe, their preliminary report was already outside.
So you disregard conclusions that your mission was actually intended to sanitize the election of Zimbabwe by paying a visit to the country. Because you said you are transparent, and in terms of the report I'm referring to, transparency has indicators, or perhaps let's deal with your indicators of transparency. When you say something is transparent, what sort of indicators are you looking at to determine the transparency of an election?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I'm not sure if I understand the question, sir.
You agreed it is in your goals that you want to run a transparent electoral process. Question is, what are the indicators of transparency in your understanding? Certainly those of the SADC Electoral Observer Mission.
Thank you very much, sir. I think because this is asked in the context of our visit to ZAC. That is my understanding of the question. And like I indicated, Honorable Chair, we didn't go to Zimbabwe to learn transparency or learn any other thing. We went there for one single thing, which worked for us. Their way of accrediting both local and international election observers. That is the one little thing that took us to Zimbabwe.
That one little thing, how many officials from the IEC were sent to embark on that one little thing?
There were two, sir.
There were two officers at what level in the hierarchy of the IEC?
I'm not sure if the honorable member is familiar with the SADC skills, because that one may be easier. One of them was at D1. He was the chief public relations officer. And the other one was at E2, the manager responsible for policy development and voter education, sir.
Still on transparency, who procures and who advises on the machine or the system to use? Who procures on your behalf? Is it the IEC or there's a third party involved?
Thank you very much, sir. We activate procurement processes as the Independent Electoral Commission. But for a long time, After activating all these procurement processes, we will submit to the buyer, who is currently located at Ministry for State President. But that is going to change because we have been given a position of buyer or oversight office for all matters of procurement. And before the end of June this year, we will be having our own oversight office, our own buyer, and all matters regarding procurement within the election management body will be handled by the IEC, not submitted to Minister for State President for processing. Thank you, sir.
You stated that you are currently installing a new system and conducting the quality assurance testing. Are you in a position to share with us who is involved in the testing exercise? Or it is entirely an in-house operation?
Thank you very much, sir. It is done by us and a consultant, a private company, say, owned by a Botswana, 100%.
Okay, this is because in the past, if you recall, when the issue of EVM was mooted then, some legislators went on a trip to go and benchmark on these machines. This particular system, so it is entirely the decision made by IEC as to what machine or what system to put in place and leave out the stakeholders in the election exercise.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, it's done by the IEC itself.
Okay, lastly, your target was to have this migration completed by end of June 2025. How far is the process currently at this point in time?
Thank you very much, sir. We are continuing with the process of migration. And as we transfer some of the data from some constituencies, we will encounter some technological glitches here and there, and they are attending to that. But we are still continuing with the migration. And our target, like you have already indicated, Honorable Member of the PAC, is to ensure that we complete the migration by end of June. If it goes beyond that because of some glitches, it will still be fine with us because, like I already indicated, it's a sensitive area. It has got to be done properly.
Last one. Last year in the build-up to elections, you went on radio to, I don't know if it was a threat or what, where you were saying to the nation that whoever owes IEC, whoever is owing IEC is going to be disqualified to participate in the elections. Question is, were there any individuals who were owing money to IEC? And if ever they participated, did they all pay? Or there were those who participated and still owe the IEC? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. That one is not accurate, Honorable Chairperson of the PAC and honorable members of the PAC. I remember when I was briefing the all-party conference, I informed them that we have a list of persons who by then owed the IEC for the cases that arose or the petitions that arose from the 2019 elections. I took it to them as a baholo to assist, because to us it remains a pain in our records to see so many persons still owing the IEC. And it is not true that I said whoever owed the IEC at that time will not be allowed to participate in the elections. No, there was no how we could say that, because the disqualifications for one to participate in any electoral process are clearly stated in the Constitution of the Republic of Botswana. So there was no how I would say that, because by saying that, I would have been operating outside the law. But at the all-party conference, I took it to my stakeholders to say, as the secretary to the Independent Electoral Commission, I have this record, I have this pain, I have these issues that I'm chasing, and I'm humbly requesting you as Baholo Bami to assist me to get the matters closed, because those matters were actually court decisions. And in terms of the principle of the rule of law, the court instructions or court orders are meant to be implemented unless somebody petitioned to a higher court, not agreeing with the sentence and the same court finding in their favor. But if the situation continues as it was, we have to continue.
I thought that one was the last one.
No, the very last one.
Last one.
Still on transparency. The reason to deny some players in the game to access the electronic voters' roll. Where was this decision taken, and what was the reason behind it? When transparency is one of the goals that you set yourself to deliver a credible election. And by the way, you are going, one of the innovative ways that you want to go to is going digital from what you submitted earlier on. So what was the reason for not availing the electronic voters' roll?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And I'm going to talk to that from two perspectives. One is with respect to Section 16, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act. That section is instructive. It's very, very clear. It provides that if anybody wants a copy of the voter's roll, they should get it from the secretary, really a hard copy. That's what the Section 16, subsection 3 provides for. I know that there's evidence to the effect that in 2019 we provided our stakeholders with an electronic version of the electoral, of the voters' roll, and we are saying that was not in accordance with the law. We don't know why we did it in that manner. But when you realize an illegality, you cannot perpetuate it. The law requires you to make good. And that's precisely what we did as we were preparing for the 2024 general elections with respect to access to the roll in terms of Section 16, subsection 3 of the
So it was your decision to undo what was done in 2019? That's the question. Was it your decision, or it was coming from elsewhere and you just had to implement?
Thank you very much, sir. The Commission was implementing the Electoral Act as it is. Nobody from outside or a third party gave instructions to the Commission.
Thank you very much.
The other one, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the last one. There was also, I think the honorable member of the PAC also, he was also referring to instances where during the inspection of the roll period, 40 days for the general roll and 20 days for supplemental roll. The law is very, very clear. Right now, the Parliament amended the Electoral Act to make provision for providing a voter's roll during inspection. This should be understood that during inspection, the roll to be provided in the Commission's website or the government's website. It also says any other electronic media that the Commission may determine. When we were preparing for the 2024 general elections, we didn't make that provision. We didn't implement that provision because of issues of data protection. We made it clear to our stakeholders at the all-party conference that because we are still grappling with issues of data protection, protecting the identities of the voters, we won't be able to provide that electronic version of the roll that was supposed to be inspected online in our website and even in the government website. But going forward, because we have employed an expert in the data protection, and she's working day and night now to correct everything that was supposed to be taken care of before implementing that particular provision. We are going to have inspection of the roll in a digital format in our website and even in the government's website as provided for in the Electoral Act. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you generally for the engagement. It was a serious engagement. As we gravitate towards conclusion, I would want you to take note of the following. One, that we have keen and specific interest on issues around the IEC Act as the Public Accounts Committee, because we think in there issues of appointment of commissioners, appointment of the secretary of the commission, issues around the independence of the IEC shall be contained. It's an area of specific interest to us. When you come next, we shall also be canvassing same. We also have specific interests on issues of the advance poll. It was so chaotic, it was so messy last time around, we don't expect it to happen again. Unfortunately, we just have to wait for 2029 to see if indeed the module we have works. That is a very important matter that you should note. We are also very keenly interested in the location of the intelligence community in election management in Botswana. It's an issue that we have vehemently denied, told us in very clear terms that there's no way that the DIS will get involved. I have listened to the DIS before, in the previous PAC, I've listened to them just this week. So it's a matter that we may revisit, depending on what we get from our archives. We take active interest in the issue of innovative registration. And actually, I must agree with you that the way registration is done now may be promoting the low numbers of people who are registering. So we are taking note of those issues. And with those remarks, we will move on to the next level. We'll go to the memorandum of progress. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to page 2.
I do take note of your advice, Honorable Mtausani. I do take note of your advice that was conveyed to me by the secretaries.
Page 2, we memo. 3 has been dealt with. And page 4 has been dealt with. 5 dealt with. We're done with the memo.
Sorry, you're very fast. I know it's lunchtime. And raise up your voice, please.
Okay, let's go.
Honourable members,
Let's go to page.
We're still at the memo.
Oh, I thought we were
Still at
done
the
with
memo.
the memo.
No. Memo. Honourable members, are you okay with the memo? Is it okay? It says okay. We can go ahead to the
Auditor General's report. I think he's already discussed the revenue. So it's monitor, page 2, and monitor page 3 as well, unless somebody has any comments. And we go to page 4. It's a monitor. I think those are she's already talked about the development projects.
Yes.
Yes. And then page 5 is a monitor. Recurrent expenditure. Page 6 we monitor. 7 we monitor. 8 we monitor. Statement 14 we monitor. Miki botsa fela ka these council candidates or or are they not coming to collect because maybe the amounts are manyinyane or they're not aware of.
Thank you very much. Actually, we have already submitted the money to the consolidated fund because the law says you can keep it for 5 years.
Because of what? For them to bother to come and get the money or what?
Oh, I understand. Yes, by then, it was 100 pula for councillors and 500 pula for members of parliament. And you can imagine in the case of Okavango, somebody traveling from Gudikwa to go and claim 100 pula at Gumare. That was too much for them.
Okay. Page 10, monitor.
And you reduce the speed.
Okay. Page 11, we monitor. So, retained this. Retained from what? I thought this was the election, even though the amount is small. But what are we retaining? Page 11. During that year, what were we retaining?
Thank you, Chair. We are retaining from the same project. This is in relation to, this relates to registration clerks.
2020 never since about
2020.
2022. The year we are looking at.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue then. Let's continue.
Is it monitor or memo?
Monitor. Statement 14 came on it.
But wait a minute. On page 11, was the answer? What was the answer? Were they still owed money going into 2021?
Yeah, but they can't.
Page 11, you stated that. Okay, please. Yes, sir. The 4985 was retained during the year under review. Here.
Is it clear, sir? If it's not,
There were issues like reconciliation. We could ask for a king as a SI go BRS. Why is the money still here?
we can offer a clarification so that the matter is clear to you, sir.
Okay.
This is in connection with the money that was withheld from the allowances or the payments we were effecting to the people whom we engaged as registration clerks or top. After the conclusion of these payments, we were supposed to submit or remit to BRS. Remittances have been done, from my understanding, but there was a problem with record keeping. That is why we are saying we are still reconciling, because since we are reconciling to make sure everything is in order. If you look at progress, we are making tremendous progress. There's a lot of movement towards conclusion.
Do you know? Okay.
Accountant General?
I think as they're saying, the reconciliation is ongoing and it's a monitor item. We'll see in the next financial year that the money has been remitted or not.
Yeah, we shall keep on monitoring. Thank you very much.
Okay, page 12. It's closed. E-local education. Education has accepted as well. And then page 13, memo. 14, memo the first two. Close the next two. Page 15, you close the first one. In the lower table, you close first one and memo the next two. 22 monitor. Yes, there's still outstanding balance. Page 17. You close the last one. The others are monitor. We're done. Over to you, Chair. We're done.
Is it signed?
Yes.
Page 18.
Signed.
Okay, signed. Okay. Thank you very much, Mamlifi, and thank you very much, colleagues. It's way past lunch, and we wish to thank you, IEC, for your presentation, and thank everybody else who participated in this engagement. We will now break for lunch. And come back in the afternoon. We still have the energy. Come back in the afternoon for DCC. I can only plead with members that all of you who are here, please make it to the afternoon session. Otherwise, we'll have a quorum challenge. Ke lebogile thata batho beso re lelaletsa dio tsa motshegare gone ha parlamenteng go na le madirelo mangwe ha le tsa gore ba le ile lata kwano le ntse ba itse a re tseneng teng ra kola dijo tsa motshegare. You deserve good lunch. Thank you very much.